What do we know about the new hires?
Yeah, so these hires I think really represent what is a new chapter for Instagram under Facebook Inc. Obviously, Facebook acquired Instagram in 2012 for $1 billion. We all remember that. But what I think most probably don't realize is that Instagram for a long time was really allowed to run independently from the rest of Facebook. It was really its own startup inside of Facebook. That changed last year when the two co-founders, Kevin Systrom and Mike Krieger, suddenly departed after clashing with Zuckerberg over the direction of the app. And now what Zuckerberg is doing is really his MO. He's installing very loyal, veteran Facebook lieutenants in the ranks of Instagram. It's an entirely new leadership team led by Adam Mosseri, who's there next to me on screen, who spoke earlier this week. And that's really where they're headed, is that this is now part of Facebook. It's really a subsidiary of Facebook Inc., another product group, and these three new hires are all veteran Facebook people that are now leading communications, engineering, and design, and they also hired a head of product that was also at Facebook previously in December. So the last role they have left is the Chief Operating Officer role that's been vacant, and based on the hiring trajectory, that could also be an internal hire. So you could very well see Instagram and being entirely run by veteran Facebook people at the end of this year.
It's important because I know Zuckerberg, and you've talked about this at length, wants his lieutenants lined up behind him versus to try to contradict whatever he wants to do. We know through reporting here at F8 this week that Facebook is going to change drastically with these, well, I guess not hires, but promotions. Will we expect to see the same for Instagram this year?
Yeah, so as part of Facebook's conference earlier this week, which I was at, Instagram was a big part of that, obviously. And Instagram is really pushing headfirst into shopping, into e-commerce. They announced a new feature where influencers and celebrities can have people directly buy things from their photos. So you used to be able to just tag things when you're shopping, but now you'll be able to do the complete checkout on Instagram. They already, of course, have purchases with a handful of brands that you can do directly on Instagram. They're going to be extending that. They made Explore, the Explore part of the app, very shopping focused going forward. So we're going to see Instagram really diving more into commerce. And I think what you're seeing with the core Facebook app, which also is redesigned, is that there's a real bifurcation happening with the directions of the products and the branding. The new Facebook app has, this may seem like a small thing, but it has Facebook, the word Facebook, front and center at the very top of the app. It's never been that way. They've never done that. And it's really to match the Instagram look of that app with Instagram at the top of that app with the word Instagram. And it's like a Kellogg's approach, right? I mean, you have Life cereal for the adults and Captain Crunch for the kids. And I think that's how they're thinking about this from a marketing and from a user brand perspective.
Avoiding the same pitfall as the Snapchat in a redesign here and trying not to push any of those users off the platform who get disgruntled about the way that the new appeal, the new user experience perhaps is laid out. How does Facebook navigate that correctly with Instagram and using some of these changes to also monetize the platform better?
I mean, Instagram is the future of Facebook from a revenue and a user-based perspective, no question. There's estimates that Facebook is going, or that Instagram is going to account for the majority of Facebook's ad revenue growth by next year, potentially. So this is an app that's already making billions of dollars in ad revenue. It made $0 when it was acquired in 2012. And the user base is obviously much younger. We've seen a lot of estimates, third-party research that says the core Facebook app is really losing millennials, and it's really non-existent with the Gen Z audience. So that's where Instagram is still strong. And I still think most people don't realize, most normal people, that Instagram is part of Facebook. They've done a very good job of keeping it separate from a branding perspective, and they'll continue to do that. And I think that's what you saw this week with the new redesign of the Facebook app. They're really pushing the apps farther apart, even as they're working to combine them on the back end so that you can message people across the apps, which is another huge strategy for Facebook, and why Zuckerberg is installing these longtime Facebook executives to help him achieve that kind of synergistic vision, you could say.
Alex, before we let you go, I want to focus on Nam Nguyen, who you've been covering Facebook's blockchain initiatives pretty closely here.
Yeah.
He was transferred to the secretive blockchain group a year ago, but now filling into this role with Instagram. What's going on with the secretive blockchain plan?
So James Everington, who was the former head of engineering at Instagram, transferred into Facebook blockchain about a year ago, as did the VP of product at Instagram, Kevin Well. They're working on the cryptocurrency that we had Tanay on talking about just a few minutes ago. And what's really interesting is that Facebook has so many different divisions and kind of startups within the company, and that's really what the blockchain group represents right now, that people just kind of move between the divisions, and it's almost like they change companies even though they're part of the same one. And a ton of Instagram people have gone to that blockchain group in the last year, dozens and dozens, so including several leaders. So between all of that and the co-founders leaving and the people who were loyal to the co-founders, pretty much the entire executive bench at Instagram was completely wiped last year. And so that's why they're bringing in a lot of people from other parts of the company, and it's very telling that they're doing that and not bringing in outsiders, people with an outsider's perspective. This is really Facebook 2.0. That's what Instagram represents to Facebook, and I think Zuckerberg has realized this is too important for the future of the company to bet it on outsiders.